Okay. Over there. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Apex Network's training webinar on reporting. Just so everyone knows, this webinar is being recorded and will be available for all of you to refer back to whenever you need to. So I'm Jamie. I'm one of the support engineers here at Apex Networks. I've been here for just under a year now, so if any of you have called support in this last time, there's a good chance you've probably spoken to me. And I'm joined here by Mark as well.
Hello everybody, my name is Mark Madgwick, Customer Success Manager for Apex. A lot of you probably know me already. If not, always good to meet new friends. Right, off you go, Jamie.
Lovely. So what we'll be covering today, we're going to be covering 5 different reports that we found in the support team that are probably the most useful. I'm going to demonstrate how to use them. And also you can send in some questions throughout the webinar and we'll be answering those at the end. So these are the 5 reports we're going to be covering today. The average times report, remittance report, data sum, ANS, and ANS refusals maps. What we'll be saying though is every function in the RMS has a reporting function within it. So what we're going to be teaching today, it can be translated to pretty much anywhere else in the system as well. There we go. The main takeaway we want to take from this is to have a good understanding of reporting function and ultimately make it helping you work smarter and not harder. To give you a better insight of the reporting functions and what kind of information they can provide you with. A lot of people are not too sure on the different reports that you can actually gain from the system. So let me bring up RMS. Here we go. So where we want to find reports, what we'll be covering today, on your main recovery screen, if you look at the top bar here, you'll find reports just in the middle of diary and mapping. There's a few options within there. We've got recovery, parking and workshop. These reports will be specific. The reports found in these sections will be specific to those areas of the business, whereas financial will cover all 3 essentially and others. We have scheduled reports. I might cover this a little bit at the end because a few people have requested so. We have some of the live statistics. I can't show you that here. Some performance and auto storage reports. We will not be covering those in today's session, but that's where you can find them if you need them. The first report we're going to be covering today is an average times report. It can be found in the recovery section. Oh, I do apologise. There we go. The average times report. Upon clicking on a report, it will give you a nice little description at the top of what that report does, as well as some options and to specify more of what you want. So you can split between different sites. If you're a larger company, you might have over different sites. You can also pick specific to a sales account or drivers, etc., etc., as well as a date range. Probably the most used one there. Let me bring up an average times report. Here we go. A lot of information here. There's a few key bits that we're going to be looking out for, specifically job numbers and order numbers to help you pin down what those jobs were. You obviously have the location of the job here. If I scroll across, here's the main part we're looking at. The reason why we thought we'd cover average times report here is it's a good way of seeing how efficient specific drivers at your company are. So in this section, you can see who the driver was and what vehicle they were driving. You can see these are essentially all the different times that you find on a job card. So when the time was recorded of the job, etc., etc., time, job time, the issue time, en route. Here you can see the different times they spent on those segments of the job. So you can see exactly how long between issued and at scene, so how long it took them to get there. Probably the most important one, how long they were at the scene. So you can see how quick drivers are working. Understandably, there are some jobs that are going to take longer than others. There are going to be some outliers, but what's quite good about this is you can have a nice average at the bottom over the course of that time period. So you can see on average how long they've been at scene, how long it's taken them roughly to get to the scene. A good report to combine with this report is the driver idle time. What this report does, let me bring it up, actually show you where it is first. So it's in the recovery segment towards the bottom, driver idle time. Here's a nice little description of it again. What it will do is it will tell you the times that they've clocked in and clocked out on a job, as well as how long within that time they've been clocked in they've spent idle, i.e. not on a job, as well as it will give you a nice average at the bottom as well. So if we can see here, this driver on the 16th, they clocked in at 6:45 in the evening, they clocked out at nearly 8 in the morning, and you can see in that time period they were idle for 52 minutes. I think that just about covers the average times report. I'm going to move on to probably the most important report we're going to be showing today, and that is a remittance report. This report is found within the financial segment. Now, what this report does, it can do a few different things. Within inside this report, it can give you 3 different types of reporting. So it can give you all outstanding invoices by a date range. This is especially useful for some work providers, because some work providers, instead of statements being sent to them monthly or however long they might do billing with you, they will like this report, so they can see clearly how many outstanding debts they have with you to make it easily payable for them, as well as all paid invoices by date range and all remittances by date range. Let me get one up for you here. Remittance report. There's a lot of information on here, but I'm going to try and break it down for you. So this one would have been all outstanding by date range. As you can see here, it will give you the job date as well as the job number. Excuse me. As well as the total gross. The main part everyone wants to see here is at the bottom. How much total is outstanding. Now, obviously, for the most part, you would have made this specific to a sales account, so you can see how much a certain customer or work provider is due to owe you. Right here. It is important to note, only sales accounts that are set to either self-bill or required remittance will appear in this report. I'll show you where you can find that actually on the sales account. So on any sales account in the financial segment, in the remittance type, they need to be set to either required remittance or self-bill remittance. The difference between the two is that they're both kind of the same. However, self-bill will not export on your accounts package until it's been fully remitted, whereas required remittance will. So if something's been part paid, it will still export onto your accounts package. Okay, I'm going to move on to the data dump here. The data dump, there's different data dumps in all the 3 segments here, but we're going to mostly lead with recovery. I'm going to show you how to make a very basic data dump. We could almost do a whole webinar on data dump because it can be quite complex. What I'm going to show is how to generate a quick one as well as save it as a template. I'll get my save one here. So if we was to get the job number, job hashtag, job date and driver found in this segment, all you need to do is push this little arrow to move it across. Additionally, if you don't want that in the report, you can just move it back. When you run the report, it will be in an Excel spreadsheet and it's going to generate the report from left to right, from top to bottom. So job number will be the first column, job date, etc., etc. Additionally, again, just like the other reports, you've got more of a breakdown at the top. So i.e. if you want to break it down to a specific sales account or the date range, invoice date, specific drivers, and so on and so forth. This is one that I saved earlier. If you was to just create a new one, we'll just put these 3 over here. Say that this is one you wanted to save as a template. All you'd have to do is click the save button, create the name for it. This is the bit that's going to be quite useful. If you click this button here, this will save the template for all users on your system. Whereas if you didn't want that to be the case, say you're the company owner and you want this a report that only you can use, then you can just save like this and only you will have it available in the save templates. If I run the report, the demo here, as you can see, as said, the job number is on the left, going from left to right. Is one important thing to note about the data dump is not to use it for financial reporting. The reason for this is unless it has been invoiced, it is not a transaction, and sometimes the data dump cannot recognize that. and therefore it can mess up, because if the job's not yet been invoiced, but it might still come through on there because it doesn't, it's not aware of which one's a transaction, which one's not. So if you are going to use financial reporting, please make sure that you use the pre-made financial reports found in the financial section. Moving on to ANS refusals. So this can be found again in the recovery section of the reports. ANS refusals. This does a wide range of things, but the main one, obviously, it will show you what jobs have been refused, when and why, and who refused them. Let me get a refusals report here for you. So there's a few different tabs which we'll cover. The first one is just a nice breakdown of how many jobs have been refused for which sales account within a given date period. So as you can see, this sales account RMS Demo 1 has had 65 refusals between this date range here in the last month. If you move to the detail tab, it's going to give you a bigger breakdown of those refusals, as in when it was received, when it was refused, and who by. It also gives you the refusal code and the reason of it. This last tab can be very useful. There's many times I've received calls where customers say, a work provider sent me a job, but I never received it. The reason for this is some work providers will send out jobs in a wide area, like to multiple of the subcontractors, and whoever gets to it first will get the job. What this does, this will be jobs that have been cancelled before you've actually had the opportunity to click the accept button, either if you're on the PDA app diver or if it's on the main system. These are jobs that have been cancelled before you've had the chance to accept them. That is often a good reason as to why you've not received the job. Lastly, we'll cover the ANS refusals map. Obviously, because I'm on a test system, I can't show you the real data, but I do have a screenshot for you. This is what will come up. Say you're in the London area. It's going to give you all the little, you'll see, in fact, let me get you the screenshot here. This is what the ANS refusals map will look like. Obviously, you'll be able to zoom in, zoom out more. This is a bit difficult to see. It will give you a highlight of where most of your jobs are coming through that you're accepting. So, for example, if you see that over near, you've got a vehicle near Gravesend, you're not getting so many jobs. But say if you've got one over more in central London that you didn't have a vehicle plotted up before, it could be a good idea to put one there. That concludes the reports we'll be covering today. We'll be moving on to the questions. I don't have it up here. I don't know. Mark, have you seen any questions come through?
Hi, Jamie. Yeah, I've got a couple come in. One of them is about profitability of vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best reports to run for that would be in, it's under the financial section of reporting in the recovery screen. So there's a profit and loss report there, which will give you what all your vehicles are earning you and what they're costing you as well. So that's always a useful one to have. We've also had a question in regarding data dump and using job date as the date. Logged or called date is on there as a field that you can pick from there. So although your main filter at the top will give you the job date, you can do call date, call receive date and time as a reporting line as well. So you can filter out those two within the report.
Fantastic. What's this one here? Reporting.
Also, while you're looking at that, Jamie, we also had another question in now about job refusals on RMS Lite.
Right. Okay.
Unfortunately, on RMS Lite, you basically get the job, and that is it. All the other whistles and bells come with the full system. So if anyone wants a conversation around how to make that work better for them, it more than welcome to call either me or the support team. Another question that's come in: is there a way to save a site on a refusal so that it shows in the reporting? Currently it's not there, but never say never. This is where we harvest a lot of our ideas from, talking to you, talking to the customers, understanding what you need. We're certainly going to put that on the list so that we can have a look and see if that's something that we could include for future reference. Right, that's all that I seem to have on my screen at the moment.
Yeah,
Back to you, Jamie.
I believe that's it. We saved a bit more time for some more questions, but if that's it from everybody, what we would like to have, if everyone could participate, we'd love your feedback. This is obviously our first webinar that we've had. So any points or anything that you'd like us to cover in the future would be greatly appreciated. You can either obviously leave that, I believe there was one on the link, or additionally you can just leave it in the comments here and we'll pick it up and we will make any improvements or tailor it more to what you, our customers, would like to see. I believe. So just a last bit as well, just to take away, the main reports, the main takeaway from this was to work smarter and not harder. Hopefully we've given you some reports that you've not used before or maybe was not so sure about, and it can just help you and your company work forward in the future. I think that about covers it, Mark, unless you have any closing statements.
No, absolutely not. I think you've rounded it all up pretty well there, Jamie. Thank you very much. Thank you for everybody who's attending. We will be doing more webinars soon. Feel free to email in or to click on the links that you've been sent with your invite. Suggest the sorts of things that you'd like to see in these webinars. These are your days, they're not our days, they're your days. We're not here to sell, we're not here to do anything apart from help you use the system more. So feel free to fire in with your ideas. Thank you very much for attending. So it's goodbye from me, and
thank you very much, everyone. I'll see you all shortly. Bye-bye.
Bye.